I'm sure you heard by now that both Erik and Lyle Menendez were denied parole this last Thursday and Friday at R.J. Donovan in San Diego. Erik Menendez went first on Thursday before the parole board. They denied him parole for 3 years, but he could have a review as early as 1 year. They said that he showed a pattern of misconduct. Cell phones were smuggled in, there were drug issues, and that he was part of a prison gang, which, sorry, but it makes me laugh. Prosecutors argued that he hasn't accepted full responsibility and does not have empathy for the killing of his mother. Lyle went next, and while he has been very active in different programs and mentoring, the parole board also denied him for 3 years, saying that he also had contraband like cell phones, and they said that he has antisocial traits like deception, rule breaking, and not matching his words with his actions, which makes me laugh. Now, here's the bombshell. On Friday, when Lyle was in his parole board hearing, leaked audio came out from Erik's parole board hearing, which was Thursday. And in the leaked audio, you can hear Erik talking about his father's abuse. He talks about why he bought the guns and why he shot his mother after he shot his father. And then you can also hear the parole board denying Erik his parole. And this sent the family, attorneys, and a lot of people into an uproar because this isn't the first time that the Menendez family has been disrespected under the law. This hearing was private, okay? It was not open to the public. It was not open to any reporters. It was a closed hearing. And so this is leaked audio from the prison staff to the news organizations. And the reason why it makes people upset is because if you remember last December, Nathan Hochman, the DA of Los Angeles, he never met with the Menendez family. And they are actually victims of this crime. You know, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins. And under Marcy's law, they should be heard by the DA of Los Angeles. They basically had to petition him through their attorneys to have him meet with them so that he could hear their victim statements. So this is just more icing on the cake for this case. So just to reiterate, these hearings were closed to the public and to the press, okay? That's why when you were watching TV, you would see the press and they looked like they were out in the middle of the desert because they couldn't be in the correctional facility. The people that were in person were Erik on Thursday and his parole board and his parole attorney, and then Lyle on Friday and his parole board, which was completely different than Erik's parole board and his parole attorney. The family members were all virtual. So wherever they lived throughout the United States, they were chiming in online in a virtual meeting. On Thursday, shortly after Erik was denied parole, the whole world knew, and everybody was up in arms and everybody was really upset until Honore Brown, otherwise known as X-Rated, who spent time incarcerated with both Erik and Lyle Menendez, came on social media and he was like, you guys, this was a huge win. Let's be positive. A 3-year parole denial is something they never thought that they would get to. Let's focus on the positive. It wasn't until 7:30 on Friday evening that we heard what the parole board decided to do about Lyle's parole. And we know now that the reason why it took so long is because the leaked audio for Erik's parole board came out during Lyle's parole board hearing. So this morning, Sunday, I see a video from TMZ. It's Harvey Levin. He's having a phone call with the infamous Suge Knight. Suge Knight happens to be spending time incarcerated with Erik and Lyle Menendez. And he chimes in as somebody who's been in and out of the system. And he says, Erik and Lyle Menendez were failed. That the system is designed to fail inmates, that it's not focused on rehabilitation, it's focused on keeping them in there, and that we need reform in the prison system. Suge said that the parole board's decision wasn't actually about rehabilitation, that the parole board basically focused on punishing them again for minor infractions. So that's where we're at. Erik and Lyle Menendez were denied parole for up to 3 years. Now, I want to put a little side note in here. I apologize. I got a zillion messages from people asking me why I wasn't reporting on the Menendez brothers. And the reason why is, number one, it's not my story to tell. This is somebody's real life. And throughout the history of this case and me reporting it, I've always waited until their family put out a statement or Anna Maria put out a video. I'm not here to get the most clicks or to be the first person to post. That's just not my MO. I think the deeper I get into the case and the more that I get to know the family and the people involved in it, it makes me kind of hold back a little bit because this is somebody's real life, you guys. This is not just a true crime story. Additionally, I always try to make sure that I have all of the facts straight and correct and in a proper timeline because it's really easy to get emotional when you feel like things are not fair. And so there was so much information flying around the last few days. I had to make sure like I could just clear it out in my head and get my thoughts together. And yesterday I was lucky enough to have lunch with the one and only Robert Rand and other people that I've met through TikTok. So that was really nice. And I got a little bit of clarity so I could feel confident in giving you guys a video today. So if I missed anything, please put it in the comment section. As always, I'm not the be all end all. I don't know everything and I love to hear from you guys. So let me know what you think.